you want, whatever you
I'll
want
put them
comfortable
on.
with. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So we'll just kind of, go with whatever.
We're live.
We're live. Awesome.
We're live.
So then I'm going to share it. Let me log into the.
On Wall Street, another down day as the Dow dropped 196 points to close at 24,461. This is
Change the profile here and share that. Excellent. So we have a minute of commercials, and then we'll be good to go. All right. All ready?
Thank you. Cool.
Hey, we are so glad to have you here on the Twin Cities Christian Voice, AM 980 The Mission. Of course, you listen on live at am980themission.com, or we've got our mobile app. We're on the Amazon smart speakers. And the other neat thing today is we are live on Around Town TV. This is really kind of cool. So you can stream us. You can go to the AM980 The Mission Facebook page. I just posted it there. Or you can go to Around Town, around-town.tv is the website, or find it on social media and watch kind of the live feed today. So with me in studio, we're just going to get right into it today, is Carla Berlin. And many of you probably have seen her or have heard her Around Town TV, which you've been doing for so many years. It's great to see you again, Carla.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was thinking, the show's been around 16 years, and we just took it to live streaming, but I just realized you and I have known each other 30 years.
Yeah, we go way back, probably into the 80s or so. We really haven't had that much, we were just kind of never have a chance to...
More colleagues,
yes,
and running into each other at events and
yeah,
funerals and weddings and
things like that. But it's great to see you again.
Thank
You look fantastic. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you in studio. So first of all, let's just start off with Around Town TV, because, as you said, it launched about 16 years ago, and you were on cable here in the
Yes.
Twin Cities, and you really just kind of, it always looked like it was so much fun.
Yes.
All you did.
It is. It's my love. It's my passion. I've sold advertising for 28 years, I believe it's been. And then I also had this television background, did some home shopping. I was a host on Home Shopping. that wasn't my passion. And then when I was selling for the Pioneer Press, back when the newspaper was really thick, and I was doing that, I realized whenever I'd sell an advertorial, which was a story on a business, the huge success that it had, and I thought this needs to be done in television, and there needs to be an opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses, but it needs to be on an affordable station. And thus I took it to Metro Cable Network Channel 6, and the first show hit the air April 28th of 2003.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it many, many times, and you had just all the different people you had in the show. People I've known, business owners, a lot of people would recognize and knew a lot of the people on the show. So it was really kind of that word of mouth. And this was even before social media.
Right.
It really took off where you could really kind of share a lot of those things. But what was that? You know, it was a way for small and local businesses to really kind of be connected.
It was a creative way to get the word out about products, services, organizations, and businesses. And the reason it was successful before social media, and actually as HD was just getting more popular, is because the same show ran almost 4 times a day, 20 times a week, 60 times in 3 weeks, or 80 in 4 weeks. And so people would walk up to me and they'd say, oh, you know, they get a little embarrassed. I caught you channel flipping.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is, and it's like, well, no, that was the plan, because, you know, I knew people wouldn't look at the clock and go, oh, it's 7 o'clock. I have to go home and watch Carla Berlin
Right.
on Around Town TV. Or back then, my co-host, Mark DeJoyce. So I knew that, but I also know there had to be a way to build the brand and have success for the clients as well.
And that success for the clients was really pretty good, because there's a lot of people that we still recognize today that kind of got their start or their branding or really came into our living rooms through Around Town.
You're
TV.
absolutely right. Dr. Cook at Smiles at France was my very first client. I'll never forget sitting down with him, and I didn't have a show to show him. I just had a media kit. And I remember him looking at it. He looked up at me and he said, "You're going to be really successful." He handed it back to me, and he's been on it. We're still connected today. He's my dentist still today, and he was on till we took it off of Channel 6 November 16th of 2017. That's when we went live streaming, but he was on that entire time.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that transition then to the live stream, because now with the web and the technology of cameras, we've got it set up here in the studio today, so we're live streaming it right now. You can go to the AM980 The Mission Facebook page to do it, or you can find the Around Town.
Yes, you can find it on 5 of my pages. Carla Jean Berlin, you don't have to be my friend. I post it publicly, or the Around Town TV show and Around Town Media LLC page. And then it's also on our Family Foundation page, my youth page. I do have a Carla Berlin page as well. When we're done tonight, I will upload this to 18 different platforms. So, and I can tell people have been commenting and already watching it and tuning in. So I thank you for those who are watching it there. But you're, yes, absolutely right. We did take it off the air. HD was becoming popular. Channel 6 doesn't have an HD channel. So when people caught me channel flipping, now they have the voice activated remote. So like people go, even my mom, she'll say Shark Tank or Judge Judy.
Yeah.
Or if she does say, it'll always take her to the HD channels. And when I saw that happening, I realized, okay, and viewing habits are changing.
Yes.
As we know, both of our industries. So like what you're doing with digital, I knew that I needed to take it here to the live streaming like they're able to watch us right now. And in doing so, it was a really smooth transition. It's been great.
And the neat thing is, because you do a live stream show basically every week, but then that is available for a video podcast that people can download or subscribe to or see at any time. It's just kind of like what we do with the podcast. It used to be in radio and TV. Once it was beamed out, it was gone unless you happened to set your VCR to record it for TV. Or then your DVR later, or in radio you started out, you had to run a cassette tape to record
absolutely.
it. But now you have that basically on demand, and it's something that can be used and shared. It's part of that viral marketing, which is very successful for a lot of the businesses and your clients.
It has been extremely successful, and for example, people tuning in, I know we're doing 2 segments, so I will look at who's commented and asking questions. But while I'm with the guest or the expert of the business, people can actually ask us questions right there. And we can answer them and help them if it is a service or an interest of theirs. We can basically take care of it right there.
Yeah.
And it's done.
And so if people are interested, so they're maybe listening now, they've got a business or a small business, because part of what you're doing now is you've got into business consulting as well.
Yes, I have. Yep, so I have 4 legs to Around Town Media. I have the hosting, emceeing, public speaking, which I do for various events. Then I have another leg that's philanthropy based. I sit on a lot of boards, I give back, I run charities and events. Then I have the Around Town TV, which everybody knows about that, and they're watching on Facebook right now. But the other leg is the business strategy, business consulting, whether it's storytelling, marketing, communications, and digital marketing, branding. My expertise in that is actually, that's where I've been doing that for 30 years. But people don't know that because they only see me or hear me. Yes, like we're doing.
Think you're just a TV host and that's all you do when there's so much more.
They think I just show up. I wish, and they all think my hair and makeup is done by somebody and everything's taken care of when they don't realize, no, I'm the one at my desk at 6 a.m. like you, and I'm the one at my desk at midnight, before, during, and after, so.
Well, you're the one here setting up the camera and setting up the lights and setting up the live feed and doing that all yourself. It's not, you don't have this big team behind you.
No, I only wish.
Other than people that just support you.
Well,
and
I do have to do a shout out. So as I took this show live, Diana Pierce, who many people recognize that name in this industry, sort of went into retirement, but Diana's the type who's just always go, 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 like many people you and I know. And when she heard I was doing this, and I kept asking her, well, what's next for you? Because I knew.
Yeah.
So thus her What's Next with Diana Pierce show. She comes over and helps me as the grunt or the drone behind the scenes. And then I go over to her home and do the same on Thursday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we're really busy. And I think when people see that, they get a little envious of, oh, you guys are having fun. They don't realize, oh no, it's a lot of work.
There is a lot of work that goes into anything we do. I mean, we sit down and do a 2-hour show 5 days a week, and John over behind the glass, he's the one that keeps us on the straight and narrow and pushing buttons and we try, but people don't always realize that because they think, oh, you just show up, sit down in front of the camera, turn on the microphone, whatever the case may be, and it's all there. But there's a lot of prep, scheduling of guests, getting the schedules to line up, not always easy. Then the research you're doing behind it, and all those things. So it is a lot of work. And then this, with all the other things that you have going on, and adding the consulting things too, it does become a big deal. And then anybody who is a business owner like you are understands that there is no such thing as a business owner that doesn't work, that works a 40-hour work week.
Oh, absolutely. I speak in the entrepreneurship at Augsburg, the entrepreneurship class. It's an evening class. It has about 25 people, and so I'll ask all the students. Actually, it's the same professor that was there when I was there. He must have just been getting into the industry. And I'll look around. He's an easy A if you go to all the classes, but I will look around and I'll say to everybody, because of course they don't want to raise their hand to, it's an easy A. I'll say, so how many of you in this class want to start a business? And they'll all raise their hand.
Right.
And then I'll say, well, look around the room. Only 2, maybe 3 of you are going to be successful. The rest will fail.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10 fail.
And there's a lesson to be learned in that, because a lot of people who are still successful failed at some point, and now have gone, went through that failure, learned things, and move on to the next thing. And they didn't give up.
Absolutely, it's part of it. A good example is Walt Disney. He filed bankruptcy 7 times before he made that empire.
Yeah.
Is for what it is today, and I think, wow, it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, it is. It is neat. We need to run to break here. It's Lee Michaels Live here on AM 980 The Mission. We're joined with Carla Berlin from Around Town TV. Around-town.tv is the website. On social media, there's about 4 or 5 platforms you can follow her on and take it in. You can watch the live feed right now as well, and we'll try to get some comments or questions too if you have them, either through the phone 651-289-4499, or better yet, just go to Facebook. You can find us there and post a question there as well. So stay tuned. More Lee Michaels Live coming up here on the Twin Cities Christian Voice, AM 980 The Mission. Excellent.
Do you know Jana Noonan? Noonan?
Yeah, she does a lot of our photography for a lot of our station events.
She's awesome. She just said, hello, Carla and Lee. I didn't know you knew her too. I love her.
Yeah, she does almost all of our events.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
we have a good group on, and they'll watch it. And this, I'll let you know where it's going to be. It'll be on 5 boards of Pinterest. No, actually 7. Be on my website. It'll be on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then you
Excellent.
know all of our Facebook
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
So
very cool. Well, we'll do, because we got this and then traffic, so we still got about 4 minutes left.
oh good, okay.
So,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'll come back. We can talk a little bit about the foundation. You know, pick up on the philanthropy side of things.
Okay,
And
whatever
if there's
you want.
anything,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
just grateful to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we got oh good. Yeah, you're on there too. So we got a good group. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, whatever you want to talk about, and then we should figure out we should talk more. Because I'd
Yeah.
love to do more of this with you.
Yeah.
You know.
And there might be something. Yeah, just I don't know.
I
We'll
don't
just
know what
think
it
on
is.
I-
Yeah. And it may be not, but it's
but
worth
whatever
exploring.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I get to see you.
Yes, it'd be fun.
I
So.
know, we have to take a picture and send it to Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll do some photos when we're done.
Yeah, well, normally I get a couple. I always get a shot too here in the studio.
Oh,
We can do
great.
one kind of action shot afterwards and one.
Perfect.
You know, so it'd be great. So it's flipped around.
Oh, I'm like, why is it not?
There you go. I know these are the.
Take a picture of me. Here. There, I'll turn it down so I can. Yeah, this is great. Oh, and you even have a Bible. So there you go.
We're covered in here.
You are covered.
Yeah, we've got our live. Tomorrow I'm live at Calvary Church. We've got an evening with C.S. Lewis. So
Oh, I
after
saw
David
that.
Payne
Yeah.
comes in, and he does basically an hour and a half as C.S. Lewis. He's,
Wow.
talks about everything from, his start, the writing of Chronicles of Narnia and Mere Christianity. He'll talk about, basically his relationship with his wife who died. That was the movie Shadowlands. So it's pretty cool deal. We've probably got 300 people coming.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, now that's a great thought too of what you're doing there, and there's so many
Yeah.
things. I'm just glad that you.
Because one of the things we're trying to get to the next stage too, where we're live videoing everything we do in the studio, and we'll have it plugged in, because not only for us, but for anybody who comes in, our clients that have shows on the station on the weekend, they can come in. Everything will still be captured on video, and be able to get out there.
Well, and I can show you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a 4K camera.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it only goes 720 here, but
Yeah.
I'm recording in 1080. A great station. We get to see the radio in action. We never see it. Yeah, they're hearing. Okay, that's right. They can. 1 versus 9. My favorite. Oh, yeah. We got some good following.
Excellent.
Gina, if you're still on, hello. It's great.
All right, we're back after this.
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit about that giving back.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. She heard us. She said
Oh.
hello. Very cool that we both know you, Jana.
Yeah. Well, my headshot in the blue jacket on the website, she took.
Well, of course I should have
Yes.
known that. Good job. She's the best.
Here we go. So glad you're with us here on the Twin Cities Christian Voice, AM 980, The Mission. Again, tomorrow night, our evening with C.S. Lewis, Calvary Lutheran Church. It's going to be a fantastic night. I know the preferred seats are sold out. At last check, I believe we had 3 VIP tickets. That was this afternoon. They might be gone by now. Maybe we'll have John check with Desta real quick to see if we are sold out on the VIP. But we've got general admission seats left. They start at $15. It's going to be a great night. If you are a fan of C.S. Lewis, you'll really have a nice time. Again, tomorrow night at Calvary Lutheran Church. You can go to am980themission.com to get your tickets. We will have tickets available at the door, but I think you can be paying $20 for those, so you might as well get them now and save yourself $5. We have 2 VIP left, so there's 2 a pair. So if you've been thinking about it, now's the time to go, because they'll probably be gone by the end of the show today. Great show this afternoon. I'm awfully excited to have Carla Berlin in studio from Around Town TV. You've probably seen it, for so many years on cable television here in the Twin Cities. Now doing a live stream every week The platform you have there now just grows immensely, and awfully excited to have you here, Carla.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. And thank you for all of you that are both listening and watching online. Lee Nelson said, we listen to 980 all the time. Blessings. And thank you, Lee. He's one of my biggest followers. So I knew it. See? Good
A
people.
lot of
Yeah.
hanging around together.
Yeah.
Well, one of the neat things is, and you mentioned this earlier, with all that you do, one of the things that you're a big believer in is giving back. And you've got the philanthropy side of what you do, which is really reaching out and helping people, helping kids, their scholarships. There's lots of things that you do. First of all, talk about the importance of why that's so important to you, and then we can kind of get into some of the specifics.
Well, back when I first met you, which was through the Miss America program, through a mutual friend, Sarah, a lot of those type of programs helped me finance my education. And I was raised that your education is your best investment.
Mm-hmm.
So then as I've grown my business and got to a certain level, I knew that I wanted to give back. And youth are just, they tug on my heartstrings. I've never married, I don't have children, but I love kids. And so right now I'm on the board for Children's Performing Arts. And then back in 1993, and I've utilized it many different ways, I started a program called Leaders and Achievers of America, which just helps me elevate scholarships throughout the country. And the scholarships come through our Berlin Family Communication Scholarship and Educational Foundation. And then the Leaders and Achievers piece of it helps me, like I said, elevate those scholarships.
Mm-hmm. And so and a lot of times you're doing fundraisers, those things you're doing because to provide those scholarships, people are making donations, you do events and things for people to help out that way. But as you've seen, I mean, what has the response been over the years as you hand out these scholarships to these children and where they were and now so many years later? Do you get some follow-up and things like that?
Oh, completely. In fact, there's a gal that I met, probably 6 years ago. This is just one example, and I get texts from her. She graduated with honors. She's an incredible dancer, and she's doing great. In fact, she's doing some TV work. And I'll get like, hey, have a happy Monday, have a great week. It's like my kids that I don't have to pay for kind of thing. And then there's a young lady I met when she was 5 and mentored her. She looked to me like, her mom was an older mom at the time, and so she looked to me like her mom. And she's now 30 with 3 kids of her own, an incredible young lady. And again, recipients of our family scholarship, they reach out, they thank me, or they've been a part of some form of mentorship throughout their life.
Well, and you brought up mentorship. That's something we talk about, quite often here on the program, is the importance of mentoring. And there's many organizations and ministries out there that are often looking for mentors for people to get involved, to really give back. I mean, I always say that when I started in radio, I got a lot of help from people, really smart people in this business. Guys like John Hines, back in the day, my first job working at WLOL with him, and learned a lot from him, and Dan Seaman, and just a number of people over the years. Greg Swepper.
Right,
I mean, if you know both of them, I mean, they're fantastic. And so, giving back and helping people getting a start and mentoring through that is a great thing. And it's something you're always doing.
Well, and what I firmly believe is I may be working for them one day again.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a lot of these people who've mentored me have come to me even through around town, and we've been able to form like not only just a colleagueship, but just a certain trust where if I'm needing something, I can reach out to them and vice versa, or ask questions, because I think, as you have seen in this industry, both television and radio, if we're not reinventing ourselves and staying with the times on the cutting edge, we can lose it.
All those mediums, TV and radio, have changed a lot in the 30 years that I've been in radio. I mean, it went from days where we had the reel-to-reel machines, we had, tape, literally in the studio. I mean, I joke about that. The only computer we had in the building when I first started was basically the word processor that the office manager had. Now there's computers. We've got multiple computers in the studio. Everything is automated. There's so many things. So the types of jobs and the number of jobs have changed. So what I was trained to do when I came out of Brown and beginning radio in the 80s, almost none of that applies today other than talking into a microphone.
Same.
That's about the only thing. The platforms, the editing. I mean, I remember when digital editors first came on the scene and thinking, how do you look at a sound file? And now it's, you know.
I'm even before fax machines.
Yeah, I remember it when we got our first fax machine at the radio station, and I remember thinking afterwards, how did we ever get anything done without a fax machine? We were driving across town to get a contract signed or something.
Absolutely, and now we all just scan and email it.
Yeah.
So I don't even use my fax machine anymore.
Nobody does. It's everything you can create as a PDF and send it off. So technology changed. We look at social media and the way businesses interact now. I mean, we do that all the time here at the radio station. It's what you're doing and the platform you have. And the neat thing is looking at things on the local level, because there are lots of businesses, small businesses, mom and pops just beginning a business, or people that are, you know, they don't have any, they're never going to be, because they don't need to be
Right.
this big business. They get by, they employ, you know, it might be just family or a small group, you know, that business that might have 10 to 15 employees
Yes.
are just as important to us as the Fortune 5 companies we have here.
Well, and one thing that a lot of people don't realize is, yes, small and medium-sized businesses or business owners in general are only 5 to 6% of the country, but they contribute 80% of the wealth.
Yeah,
So it adds up.
yeah.
And they are important, and a lot of them are putting their blood, sweat, and tears, their 401ks, and that's why it's important that we can help each other and help each other succeed.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. What are some of the biggest fun stories or surprise stories, things that have happened to you in your years doing the TV show?
Oh gosh, there's so many funny things that have happened. But one of them, I think, was, you know, back when I was co-hosting the show with Mark DeJoy, and we actually had a radio show down here at that time. And I'll never forget, I had run into, we only had a quick commercial break of something, and it wasn't here, it was something where we were live on air somewhere. And I ran into the restroom, forgot to turn my mic down.
Uh-huh.
So the producer had the lovely, you know,
Yep.
yeah. And so, of course, then they tease you and you're live on the air, so you just roll with it. And I've had a lot of interesting things happen. I think I always say it's TV and kind of life in general is what happens when you plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out.
Yeah, because you had a program on our sister station
Yes.
here. That was maybe what, 5, 6 years ago? I'm trying to remember when that was. Was it longer?
It was like 13 years ago. It was 2005 and 6.
Okay. And it, yeah, gosh, that's right. Because it was, and I started here in 2006.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think you might have been in even after that.
We might have. Yeah.
Or you were. Yeah, it's.
maybe
I know it kind
has.
of runs together.
It does run together, yes.
amazing.
And we really enjoyed that. We had a good time down here.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's again, we're always things are always changing, and that's where people have this opportunity and to get involved, to share the social media, the connecting. Because in one way, there's a lot of great aspects to social media, and there's a lot of negative aspects, and it's just like the internet and things like that. People talk about that all the time. That you have the opportunity. It's just a tool.
Right.
To do good or evil with, and we talk about what we're doing here and all the good that happens. So you can't lump that in, because what you're seeing on social media, the way we can connect, the way you connect with friends, the way you share and get that information out, it's a valuable tool.
It truly is, and I know there are people who get frustrated or irritated or they get tired of it. But or there are people who just flat out hate it. But I'll tell them, you know, you can manage Facebook. And social media, you can set restrictions, you can manage it how you do your
Yeah.
life. If you're somebody who's very private, don't post stuff or
Yeah.
don't respond. You don't even have to let somebody know your political agenda or views
You can-
or religious.
Yeah, have it be, it's just for friends only. It can be open, or, you know, and then for me, it's that same way. My page is still relatively personal. I do a lot of kind of work stuff, but I don't have it opened up to the public figure side. You know, when I started out, it was just, I'm only going to add friends that I have met personally,
Yes.
that I have known. And it might be just, I might meet you once at an event or something. If I know who you are and I met you, then I will add you into the circle.
Yeah.
But now, again, doing the afternoon show again, so now we're talking about that. I'm probably going to create a separate Lee Michaels Live show page for all of for that aspect. And there's nothing wrong with having more than one page and doing those things, because there's stuff I want to post that it might be family oriented that I'm going to
Right.
on one page that I don't really need on the public page, like my daughter's graduation or whatever the case may be.
Well, and one little piece of information or advice or whatever, if you will, that I've learned is I did that. When I hit my max in friends, I started this public page, and really people don't I can't follow them and see what they're doing, but they can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They don't like that. They really do want to be your friend.
Mhm.
So you could always create just a second
Yep.
page, and I duplicate. So I did do that recently. I created a second profile, and that was just like a week or two ago, and I have 400 friends on there. And it's because people really do want to know, but I also communicate back with them.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a great way to connect. So I encourage
Yes.
people, don't just, we talk about social media a fair amount on here, and there's lots of great things you can do. We've talked about the trolling aspect, and we talk about
Creeper.
this stuff. Make sure you do some research before you repost things, because there's just so many things out there. We are divided enough as a country. There's things we can do to keep that going, and the connections that you have in the business community and all that is to help, because that's a big thing about, we mention all the time, support those that support us in
Exactly.
many ways, shapes and forms.
And when we were speaking about the philanthropy side, there are so many people who help me achieve my goals in both Around Town TV and the philanthropy side of the business, that on all legs of my business that I really feel indebted to, and that's one of the reasons I also try to give back, and that's, we have to help each other. The more successful you are, the more successful I'll be if I'm helping you.
Right.
And people, I think it just comes back to you.
Yeah, it's great. I know we're going to run up against the break here. You want to stay one more segment?
Sure.
We'll do one more segment. Again, it's Lee Michaels Live here on AM 980 The Mission. We're joined with Carla Berlin from Around Town. You still just call it Around Town TV or just Around Town?
Around Town TV.
Yeah. Website again, around-town.tv. Or on social media, all the platforms. If you just search, Carla or Around Town TV, you'll find it and get connected there. So stay tuned. We're coming back here on AM 980 The Mission. We are the Twin Cities Christian Voice.
Hey Di, hey Chris Carr, Diana Pierce, they're both online.
Oh, hey.
Hey guys, and Di said hello. We were talking about you, Diana.
Yeah, well, Diane and I've only met her a time or two at some events or at the state fair, so I don't even know if she remembers me.
Oh, you'd be surprised. She's one sharp cookie. She remembers
Yes.
a lot of people. A little bit of trivia, she was second runner-up to Miss California.
Yes, I remember that. I knew that. Speaking of pageant stuff.
Yeah.
And you said Chris Carr was on there too?
Yeah, Chris is on.
You know Chris? Have you met Chris?
Yes, I love Chris. In fact, when he won Radio Personality
Yeah.
of the Year was when I won TV
Hey, Chris.
Personality.
Yeah.
Hey, and I co-won it with Di, and then.
Yeah, because Chris and I used to work together at Clear Channel back in the
Oh,
day.
that's
and
right.
It's kind of funny because Chris, I stopped by and see him at the state fair, so it's always great to connect there. I wish we did it more than once a year.
Yeah.
But
He was going to be a celebrity
Yeah.
in our event.
yeah, well, he listens. He's a big listener to AM 980 The Mission.
Love him.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
Talented,
great.
beyond.
And when, because he rode with, when Dan Donovan passed away, he rode with my wife and daughter and I to his service, and so, Chris is a great guy.
Yeah, doesn't get any better.
No.
Other than you.
Yes, well, so,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of, and that's one thing I've noticed too here in the Twin Cities, even in media, there's so many of us that get, do stuff for each other.
Right.
We
And
might
help
be at
each other.
competing radio stations or not, but one day we end up working for each other. I mean,
Oh.
this is my third time in this building under 3 different owners,
Oh my
under 3 different
gosh.
formats.
Wow.
From 93X, the first 93X when they were in this building, when they
Right.
got sold, became 93.7 The Edge. They hired me back on. Went from Entercom to Cap ABC, and now back here with Salem.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
then,
great. Hey, Kathy Hanley, are you in London watching us? Because I see she's online. Let us know if you're watching from London.
Neat.
And hi, Kathy Kreisen. Happy 75th birthday.
That's what's neat about the live stream aspect, is it's also behind the scenes and on air.
It is.
So
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah, and it shows like what we're doing now before we go
Yep.
back on. I'm going to stay for another segment. You could kick me out anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna get into a few things in the next hour, and I'll
Okay.
talk a little bit about the President's Stop here, and we'll
Okay.
talk a little bit about, we got some prizes to give away, so we'll probably do a contest next hour.
Cool.
Do it,
Cool.
so.
And then what I'll do is I'll take down and I'll wait, and then we can do some pictures and
Perfect.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm going live from Patrick Nell Photography at 7 o'clock because he's giving the grand prize for the cutest pet contest
Oh,
for elves.
nice.
So I'm doing 2 tonight.
Excellent.
Yeah. Hi, Mike. Thanks
we'll-
for tuning in.
We can mention too about how people can do that once they just follow you. Whenever you go live, it'll just
It's
pop up
posted.
for 'em. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're back after this.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Thank you for tuning in. I say that a lot, but I really do mean it. I mean, I know people are busy. You've got lots of things to do, but taking time to listen, whether you're running around, got the kids in the car, or coming home from work, it is that time. We really do appreciate it, and we try to, be challenging, engaging, entertaining, and uplifting, all those different things. And with me in studio is Carla Berline. She is with Around Town TV. The neat thing is now, you can get that content pretty much whenever you want because you've got everything archived at the website, and also you're doing so much. And you've got to do this show, but then you've got another show to do tonight. You're going live.
I am. Right now, a lot of you know I'm running the Cutest Pet Contest through Al's Vacuum, and one of the grand prizes is Patrick Now Photography is donating a portrait session and a 16 by 20 portrait of you with your pet or your pet separately. And so I'm going to head up there and we'll talk about that. And everybody loves pets and food.
Yeah,
It's been a huge success.
yeah.
Not that I expected it to fail, but it's been great.
It's been fun. So that schedule. And the neat thing is too, you can follow because if you just follow you or Around Town, whenever you go live, it'll automatically be there. And if you can't watch it live,
Correct.
you'll know that there's a new show to go get.
Well, and with your personal page and the missions page, along with all of mine, there's be 20 different platforms and places you can watch this if they miss it or they're hearing it but they would like to see what we're doing. You can find it on Facebook, it'll be on 7 different places. Carla Jean Berline is one of them, and Around Town TV show and Around Town Media LLC, plus your personal page.
Yep.
And the mission page as well.
It's all over the place. It's easy to do. Where do you see all of this going next? Because that's a big discussion when people have. We talk about radio changing. I mean, they thought when cable TV came about, that was going to be the end of broadcast TV.
Right.
And we thought that satellite radio would be the death of terrestrial radio, and then podcasting would end music stations. Now, things are changing. I have ideas on trends and where things are going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being able to make those transitions, and that's true for a lot of businesses.
A lot of businesses. Before a lot of things recently started happening with the changes in algorithms to Facebook, I would have said in 5 to 10 years, local newscasts will go away. There'll still be news and newscasts, but we're getting them differently through our apps. Even I find myself not watching the news as much, but I do believe television will be watched on both Facebook and YouTube pretty shortly. Most people already do this, watch like things like this through
Yep.
their laptops or through their phones or tablets like we all have here. I'm finding versus even television.
Yeah, I when you look at the on-demand features and you're going to see things, the a la carte programming, I think you're going to see that also in radio. Music radio will be affected a little differently than talk radio in different aspects, but even now, the way you get things, you don't have to watch everything live. And watching how this technology changes, and you've got these new generation and kids who are growing up immersed in social media and internet and things like that, that you have to think outside the box, and you have to be not limiting yourself to one dynamic. And that's not just true for radio, it's true for a lot of different businesses. In finding ways, the way you reach customers, customer service
Yes.
is becoming big. I see, you're watching things as I know they remodeled the McDonald's in Dinkytown. They basically put in all kiosks.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, so you order on a pad, basically. which advantages and disadvantages. You lose a little bit of the customer service to a degree.
Right.
And I know a lot of restaurants have tried that in the past, but it was a little tougher because people weren't sure how to do it. Well, now everybody's used to using a mobile device
Right.
and are used to doing this, so doing things like that becomes very easy. But are you going to see then, well, maybe it pull back to a little more customer service because people like that aspect or not? It's interesting to see how these things go.
I agree with you. I mean, customer service is the big, verbiage that everyone will say sets them apart from all the other businesses. But truly, what we grew up with good customer service has changed.
Yeah.
And so the perception of the millennials or the Gen Xers and the way they're perceiving customer service, for example, whenever I'm talking to somebody about something that I consider important, I will pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I just had, and this person isn't a millennial, said to me, well, no, let's text. And I said, well, you just misinterpreted twice what I was texting. That's why I want to talk on the phone, because there's so many things that can be miscommunicated. And that, again, leads to like a customer service or just taking care of people. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot.
I do that a lot here in the building. I mean, I could, email John or something, but a lot of times I go down and it's just face to face. And then you could say it's a little old school. I still use all the technology to do things, and there's
Right.
email and texting and things like that. But there's something to that. And I think also businesses that they make choices, and sometimes they bring it back. I know I have satellite TV, and the company I've been with now, gosh, for like 20 years, they had moved their call centers overseas. Well, they got a huge blowback from people, trying to communicate when they had an issue and they were trying to troubleshoot them, and they just, how most call centers work. What's the error code? And then they have a script for everything that's happening, and it was an issue. Well, enough people complained that they made a big deal about, we're bringing all of our call centers back home. And I do that occasionally. I'll ask them where they're at. Oh, I'm in Colorado, or I'm in Tennessee.
Oh,
So
funny.
they realized that they were losing customers and it was an issue,
Yep.
and brought call centers back in the U.S.
Oh, it's so important, especially a lot of them. I had a similar situation, and I couldn't understand them. They didn't really even speak English, and then you're getting frustrated, and you already have an error or problem, and it's like, talk about underwear getting in a bunch. That's when you want to say, "Ooh, really, just help me here."
And that's why when you think about businesses, and that's why people contact you, Colin, because when you're looking at how do we reach the clients, the potential customers that we have, or we want to get in this day and age where, there's print, there's so many different avenues, and one of the strong things is that you are able to be flexible and being able to target specific customer groups.
I absolutely agree, and I think that's why talk radio does so well, because in many respects, you're doing what live streaming allows us to do, but people could hear, and
Yeah.
they still do, and then what you've done
And get
with
feedback.
and get feedback, and they can call in, and that's why it's remained strong. And with television and the on demand, and then being what we're doing right now with live streaming, I think there's ways. Of course, there's a need for everything. Billboards, outdoor. There is a need, and there's so much more opportunity for people. So it's more than just being educated, so they know. So for me, I find the more educated I am on all the mediums, I can find the right customers and help them.
Yeah, and that's what it's really all about, because that benefits us all.
Right.
It builds a strong business that are hiring people that are and most businesses, the mom and pop businesses too, obviously the large corporations do give back a lot, but
Right.
the thing with the mom and pop or businesses like you with your foundation that you've got, and the scholarships that are handed out, are really going back to local people right here in the Twin Cities.
You are absolutely right. So our Berlin Family Communication Scholarship and Educational Foundation started through the Miss America program, where we were giving back to the interview winner. That was sort of my thing, and then, which helped me get into television and media. But it's elevated and it's gone into, now we're giving it to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, the Upper Midwest Emmy Student Production Awards. That's a mouthful. And we also work with the Distinguished Young Women in Minnesota and the state of the state as well. But we have also, through Leaders and Achievers of America, elevated that throughout the country.
Yeah, and I think it's neat when you bring that up about women in business, and that is a huge growing segment. We've got very good friends of ours who have an HVAC company that she is the president of, and runs, and women in business and women in trade, and all these things is really neat to see. And there's advantages for I'll say minority business ownership,
Right.
and incentives that come out of that, but also just it helps build, strong business, strong community, a lot of aspects. So it's always neat to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. It brings just a unique approach to things. And it actually opens the door for opportunities that maybe the business wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important, and I have found some of my favorite managers, sales managers in media, have been the men. They've been willing to mentor me, to help me grow, to push me, to challenge me, and so I'm thankful to that as well. And I feel like sometimes they now don't get the recognition they deserve as well.
You are right about that, and we've talked about that before on the program. When you look at that there are two sides to everything, and when you look at it, it does go both ways. But I've worked for some amazing guys over the years.
Absolutely, so have I, and right now through the transition of Around Town TV and Around Town Media, the people who have really been my advocates, don't get me wrong, I've had some really amazing women help me, have been the men.
Yeah.
Men colleagues that I've known in this industry that have challenged me and helped me make the right decisions.
Excellent. Well, Carla, it's fantastic to see you again.
Thank you.
It was great to have you here. We'll definitely have to connect in the future, and maybe we'll work out ways to get more live streaming stuff going, or who knows what. But
Absolutely.
really appreciate you coming in, and I know you got to run off and get another live show going this evening, and people can follow you.
Yes.
If you go on Facebook, if you just search Carla Berlin or Around Town, they'll find your pages.
Absolutely. Carla Jean Berlin, Around Town TV Show, and Around Town Media LLC is the page. And we'll go live again at 7 p.m., but you can watch the rest of this or rewatch what you missed. It'll be on those pages as well.
Absolutely. Well, Carla, it's great to see you. God bless you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. Again, you can find more around-town.tv is the website. You can learn all about the different things that she has going there too, also, and how you can give back and or get involved or have Carla help you in your business if that's the case. So glad to have you here. More Lee Michaels Live coming up here on the Twin Cities Christian Voice, AM 980, The Mission.